lot of that. Thank you for tuning in to a little bit of this, a little bit of that. This is your girl, Ms.G, aka As Sexy As I Wanna Be. You're now listening to one of the hottest podcasts that's out right now, where we'll be talking about relationships, politics, real estate investments, up and coming new artists. I will have guest co-hosts as well as live interviews, so you don't want to miss this gossip and tea. So please stay tuned for your number one hottest new podcast. A little bit of this, a whole lot of that. Thank you for tuning in to a little bit of this, a little bit of that. This is your girl, Ms.G, and I am definitely coming to this show a little disturbed this afternoon. The Senate acquitted Trump, and I don't really know how to feel. I feel very saddened. I feel disappointed. I feel like those that chose to vote not guilty, I don't know what this man has on you, speaking Trump, but whatever it is, I hope it was worth selling your soul for, because you have now solidified the division in America. The Senate has now solidified us as lower class people in the black community, and that's how I took it. Looking at the trial from the beginning to the end, and the evidence that was proven against the former president, I am sickened. I am saddened by the way we can try to even accept this type of behavior in America. Even though it's always been there since the beginning of time, Donald Trump just brought it to the head, brought it to the root. But what's scary about it is he has the possibility to run again, and who's to say this doesn't get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger? It's almost like you're being fearful for your life, even though that's an everyday thing in the black community. I like to think those Jamie Riskin, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and Joe Newgoose, I hope I'm saying that right, for the fight, in a good fight, and there were others who fought the good fight as well. Particularly these two men stood out to me and touched me most because of their speeches and how it was presented. I can't stress that January 6th was a lot. The attack on the Capitol that happened was really not a shock, but a disappointment, a disturbing feeling, a sick, gutted feeling that came in my stomach, to know that we're being looked at by other nations and countries, that we're being looked at and viewed in a hateful way to ourselves, to our own kind of people, Americans. I struggle to talk and say this because I really am disappointed and upset. It's one of those things to where when you sit back and you've come from a long day of micromanaging, and you sit back and you think it has to be a better way. Well, that's what common American folk may do. Those who have come from, grass-fed and silver spoons and the fine of fines, they may not know that experience. But for those who do, it's almost like you kind of been hit by a truck. Something tragic. You lost. I lost so many of my brothers and sisters to the violence of police. And I have lost so many of my brothers and sisters to the violence of our own people. So I'm really at a position to where I'm tired of losing. So I had to come together with something, and the podcast was the best thing, to be able to create a platform and speak. Now, I love all people. I'm far from racist. I'm far from, looking at people in a certain light because of the color of their skin. I'm more of a person of character and the type of person you are, rather than what color you are. I'm, digging a little deeper. Average Joe, hard worker, high school graduate, some college. So at one particular point in time in life, I was proud to be an American. But right now, it is shameful that we have a Senate that would actually agree with the behavior of a president as a president, a former president of Donald Trump. Like I said, forgive me because I am upset. I'm so upset that I just really want to get on and speak. And I want to hear from you guys. I want you guys to definitely email in, a little bit of that, a little bit of this at gmail.com. And that is abbreviated ALIL. The solidification that has been given today just lets me know where I stand in America. And, I went out and voted. We as a human race, we won. We still have humanity. It's still love. It's still a common ground. We know that we have to have a common ground. We have to kind of agree to disagree. And that's okay. I'm cool with that. Let's agree to disagree. Yeah, you voted for Donald Trump and you like his, business skills or whatever you may agree with this man on, but you may have disagreed on a lot that he handled in his presidency. So I can understand that common ground, but what I can't understand is how he was acquitted. It's like, America, where's the backbone of us? What do we stand for? You shown that today. And I don't think you guys really understand how deep this goes. And the media is only going to give you so much. But to me, this man, and I'm speaking of Donald Trump, our former president, this man has to have some serious power. Some serious power to beat 2 trials. Some serious power, something serious over the people that, the 10 votes that were missed in this trial. I'm disappointed at the 43. I'm very disappointed in our government and how we govern. Because are we thinking? Are we actually having an outer body experience to see how others can see how easy it is to overthrow the government, come in our space, on our land and our turf? It makes us look so weak as Americans. And this is the picture, and this was the conclusion that you guys came up with. I have to step in my own backyard. I'm disappointed in the North Carolina Senate that voted not guilty. Tom Tillis. If I had to call a name. These are people that Mitch McConnell, these are people that we need to understand that are in our government that don't see things from all perspectives. And the people who voted not guilty, those names, those people don't have a common ground in them. How do you sleep at night knowing that you had a choice to make the generations that's coming behind us safe from this type of behavior, from this type of hatred that's been in our country for decades, since the beginning? How do you sleep? How do you go home and have peace with yourselves? Because you can't. You have to be inhumane. You have to be inhuman. Excuse me. I'm speaking from a tone of disgrace. I'm speaking from a tone of, are you serious right now? It's nothing wrong with you believing what you believe in. There's nothing wrong with agreeing to disagree. But if we had our backs against the walls as a people, will we come together then? I'm not going to fight alongside with you because you're white or you're black or you're Hispanic or you're Republican or you're Democrat or now the new center right party. Like, are we even thinking right now? You don't like me because I'm a black American woman, because the color of my skin and my swag, my attitude, so you say. Or is it my outspokenness? Or, the fact that I'm from the South. We have to step out of that. That's such a sickness in America. And it's a sad sickness too, because you're raising generations and generations up in it, and they think this type of behavior is okay, and then they go out into the real world and they have to mingle with different cultures and backgrounds and ethnicities. So you come from, don't bring no black woman home. You could play around with them, but don't bring them home. They'll kill your mother. Are we still in that backwood day and age? Are we still... Well, I'm answering a question that's already been answered. In my opinion, the Senate today solidified that. We're still divided. Thanks to the Senate. We're still divided. Thanks to the way this land is governed. And it's so sad because I was really rooting for us as a country. I was really hoping that it was a bottom line, that we're not going to stand for this type of behavior. And even though everyone disagreed with how this act of terrorism, I'm going to say, was done upon the Capitol. Nobody's taking accountability. The person that should have been accounted for it was the president, the former president. He did not care. If you had one of your best teachers, somebody you looked up to, and you know their title, you know what they're there for, they're there to teach you. They shouldn't, you're young, you're developing, or you are grown, and in college you might have teachers to professors. Let's say that person entitled, the teacher, the professor, the educator, tells you, I really think you need to go to that library and pick up X amount of books. This is that, this book is for this is this, and this is this. I really encourage you to take back your knowledge. As a student or a person who's intrigued by learning and trusting an educator, why is that any different than what Trump did? So, you go to the library, you get those books, you read them, you study them. But the point is, you went. It was put in your head to go. And that person says, I've already read them. I'm staying alongside you. I'm going to mentor you through this. So you believe them. And you go seek that knowledge or that information that the educator is speaking of. Why is it any different when the person that holds the most important title in this country tells a mass mob, I really think you need to march down there to the Capitol? Are we serious right now, America? Like, we can't be fucking serious. This solidifies division. My people, wake up. It's not going to stop. It's not going to get better. We are being lynched, hung, drugged. Things that we heard our parents and grandparents talked about. Being killed for no reason. Being killed for whistling at a white woman. Goes back to that old saying I used to hear. If you're white, you're right. If you're black, get back. What are we putting in place for the generations ahead? What are we showing to the generations ahead? How do you speak in your household? How? How do you have these conversations with your children? Because you have to tell them the truth. And is it a conversation, or is it just something that never is spoken about? If we don't start creating more black-owned businesses, more black monopoly, we are going to be in turmoil if we don't get over our ego crisis as a people. Because it's evident that the government doesn't have our back. Yes, I'm a 36-year-old mother of 5 who are in heaven. Beautiful small family. Charlotte, North Carolina native. I have had a wild, loving, rough upbringing, but God has allowed me to put my best foot forward each day. Anybody I've worked with would tell you I'm a joy to work with, no matter what color they are. I guarantee you I've made them smile. I look at my white friends and how they tell me they love me on Instagram, and they love that I'm so outspoken, and they stand with me, and I believe them. These are people I've cried with. These are people that have shared parts of their lives with me and didn't have to. These are people that are very dear to my heart, and I see them as my brothers and sisters. But it's disturbing to me that we have such a mass majority of people who still practice in hatred. Every day they wake up. Every day. They're teaching their children to hate, their grandchildren to hate, and they stand in hate. I am disgusted. Because had this been a mob crowd of people that were of color, would it have been different? Had this been former President Barack Obama in office, would this have been different? And yes, we know the answers to this. We know the answers to it. We know the answers to those questions that I just asked. We know the answers. Had this have been any people of color that had rioted on the Capitol, sat in offices, destroyed, killed, we would have been shot down like dogs. Murdered. I don't feel like I have to leave my country because of bullies. And I'm saddened that the government didn't stand up to one. This has to be a powerful person. He has to be a powerful, powerful man. Because the corona outbreak could have been handled a lot better. I know it could have. Under the right administration. It just goes to show you the politics are real. And things have gotten really serious right now. Because the opportunity for someone like that to get back in office and win the office is endangering, if that's even a word, to the black community or any people of color. I'm far from a doctor. I'm far from a counselor. I am a spiritual being. I am human. And I do have a soul, and I do have a voice, and I do have a heart. And a mind and a spirit that connects. I'm not perfect, nor do I proclaim to be. But if somebody don't start speaking up for us to pay attention to what's really going on in this world and where we stand in this world, or where we even stand in this country, we have to wake up, because it's not just here in America that racism is taking place. I hope we're not that small-minded. So we as a people need to have a come to Jesus meeting for the next 10 years of planning ahead. Because this is serious. That means a person like Trump, if Trump doesn't even want to run again, that means anybody that's groomed in his administration or in his party to go into office and they win, that should be scary. No, people, I ain't into politics. Oh, I don't get into it. I don't really. You better care. Your life, your kids, your family, it depends on it. I used to be that person that didn't really get into politics because it was like blah, blah, blah. What the hell they talking about? Okay, they talking about some shit that ain't got nothing to do with me. But in all actuality, it has everything to do with you. Right down to the pinky toe. Everything to do with you. Keep believing that the laws and the things that are governed in this country have nothing to do with you. You're right, they don't. They don't have nothing to do with you, because it's like they don't care. That should make you care even more. That you have a government that doesn't care about a particular people or a country that has lost its way. That should scare the shit out of anybody. What is the world coming to? I promote love, not hate. Am I mad at Donald Trump for being the person that he is? No. I'm not mad at that man. He just brought it out. He brought it to the head. He's always been that way. It's nothing new. But the fact that it could be brought to a head soon. It's scary. Because you can't get a passport unless you get the vaccine shot. That's going to come to a head. And then you have those that feel like, hey, I'm not leaving my beautiful country. Well, what's so beautiful about it if you can't be who you are? That's why I say we need to band together to get these entrepreneur roles, more black CEOs, you know. Now I said it best. We need this. Bad. Because you're going to go to work or you're going to go find work. And who's to say you're not working for one of these type of people who can't stand your skin color? So they're going to belittle you every chance they get. you're not going to make over a certain amount. They're going to bring someone else in, white, and put them right over you each time. Each one teach one. I am disgusted. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear your point of views. I want to hear where you're at in this world. So please email me at a little bit of that, a little bit of this at gmail.com. Or definitely check out my YouTube channel where this episode will be posted. Leave your comments. I'm open to talking. Very civil, very calm. I know black women are painted as a angry face around the country. So I definitely want to change that perspective. So I can't wait to hear from you, and thanks for tuning in to the podcast. I will definitely hear from you soon. Peace. A whole lot of that, little bit of this, a little